Oh, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Bruce Birkett. I'm a lecturer here at the University of Derby with the online programmes in environmental health and environmental and public health. And I'd like to welcome you today to this webinar. And I'll discuss the programmes online and answer any questions you have got. So the session should take about 20 to 30 minutes. If you've any sort of questions, then please feel free to type them in the box which should be towards the bottom of your screen. Right, we'll start. Just today, I'm just going to briefly overview the programs that we offer. I'm going to talk to you about the tutors, the subject areas that you'll cover, and the online resources that will be available to you as a student with the university. Right, the environmental and public health programs, they deal with the impact on health and the well-being of individuals in society as a whole. So it is a very multifaceted discipline, environmental health. There are many environmental impacts which can result in a change in your health situation. For instance, the environment, the house that you live in, the area which you live in, the work you undertake, the food you eat, and the pollutants that you're exposed to on a daily basis, be it air pollution, water pollution, etc. You'll benefit from teaching from a professional team of academics. I am myself a chartered environmental health practitioner with considerable experience both in Great Britain and abroad, which is similarly mirrored by other academics on the programme. Our accreditation, we're the only environmental health programme accredited by both the Chartered Institute of Environmental Health, based in London, and the Royal Environmental Health Institute of Scotland. So all the material we provide is very topical, it looks at current trends, and it also looks the wider issues of environmental health, not just in Britain, but also globally. So I study at the University of Derby online. Well, we have a very strong course team. The academic lead for the programme is Alan Whitfield. He's an environmental health practitioner of considerable experience, and he specialises in noise pollution issues. That's Bruce Birkett, that's me. I'm also a chartered environmental health practitioner, and I specialise in issues around housing health and safety rating system, decent homes, and also meat hygiene and meat science particularly. There's also Gillian Carlton-Bolin. She's an academic member of staff who's particularly interested in public health. Now we also have what we call associate academics. These are, although not permanent members of the university's staff rota, we use them for certain specialist areas, and we have a group of those: Paul Belcher, Christine Morrison, David Addy, Ian Manor, and Kathy Rodenhurst. They particularly cover subjects raising the health and safety in the workplace, airborne pollution and land pollution, etc. As previously said, the course is accredited by the Chartered Institute of Environmental Health and the Royal Environmental Health Institute of Scotland. So we are the only programme in the country which is actually accredited by both professional bodies. So if you're wishing to train as an environmental health practitioner, obviously you need to have a programme which is accredited by one of those two bodies. We're obviously always changing, updating the course to include topical issues and recent current developments, and we have to do that as part of the accreditation. And also the course is both suitable for career development, both for public and private. I also think environmental health practitioners when qualified do work in the public sector and local authorities. However, we're getting more and more students who are working in the private sector. We currently have students who work for large hotel chains, work for Witherspoons. We have a lot of students, quite a number, who are in the armed forces, particularly in the Air Force and the Army. And this is very important for their career progression. They actually fully qualify. And obviously, because we're an online programme, it meets the flexibility they need while they're on active service. So, although the majority of our students do still work in the public sector, there is probably a growing number, probably to about a third now, who are private sector employees. So what will happen in your first term and how we progress through the programme? If you've got any questions at this time, please feel free. You can type your questions in, and I can answer them for you. So, what will happen if you enrol on this course now? Then this is how you progress through the. So, teaching for the current semester, the autumn semester 2017, will start on the 25th of September. So it's about two weeks away. Now, if you look on this slide here, on the left-hand side, you've got a list of 6 dark blue modules, which is under the title MSc Environmental Health. They're the 6 modules that you have to undertake whilst you're studying with us. So in the top left-hand course, and these modules are offered mainly once a year. So if you see in the top left-hand corner there, it's Natural and Residential Environments module. That is offered in the autumn semester. So if you enroll for September, that would be the first module you would undertake. Then in the spring semester starting next January, you then take the Impacts on Health and Workplace module, and then in the summer next year, summer semester, you would take the Public Health and Wellbeing module. So you basically complete one semester, and each module is approximately indicative of about 200 hours of your time. So we would expect you to study for around 200 hours during that semester. So if the semester starts at the end of September, finishes in the middle of December, you've got to be able to be confident that you will have 200 hours during that 3-month period of which you could give over to studying for your module. Each module typically has 2 pieces of coursework assigned to it. There are no written or no online examinations as such on the programme. It is entirely assessed through coursework. So as you see there, you have 3 modules to do in the first year. In the second year, in the September, you would then do the Hazard and Risk Management module, followed by the following semester, the Professional Issues and Environmental Health module, and in the final semester of your second year, you would do the Applied Interventions module. So you would do what we call the taught element generally in 2 years. Now you can see that's quite well paced. Well, we are very flexible here at the University of Derby. So if you think you need a break from studying, say you got to module 4 and you think, well, I'm sorry, I've got too much. It's coming a couple of months, I can't do this module. You can have a break in study. You can have an approved break in study up to 1 year. So as long as you tell us in advance, you don't have to take the modules in consecutive semesters. You can have a break in study, say up to 1 year. So you could do for the first 3 modules. You could have a break of a year, then come back and carry on with the other three modules. So that's one way we can work. We understand a lot of our students have full-time work and other commitments, so we are flexible in that respect. You don't have to do all the modules consecutively. And similarly, if you see to the right-hand side of the slide, you've got the MSc in Environmental and Public Health. It's a very similar program. However, you've got the first 3 modules there again in dark blue, which you do in your first academic year. Then you've got the 4 modules to the left, which are in light green. Now, those 4 modules you have to do 3 of. So there is an optional module, so you have to do 3 of those 4. And after you've completed them in the second year, you then go through to what you call your independent scholarly activity or dissertation or project. That is 1 complete academic year. As soon as it says it's an independent scholarly activity, it's a considerable piece of writing to you submit on an environmental health or public health topic of your choice, and that takes you 1 year of study. And as it says, it is independent. We do offer guidance, especially within the first semester. We do live classrooms within it, but it is by and large your own work. You obviously have to you'll be allocated a supervisor during that period, and but is it primarily your learning. So generally, students on the program take around 3 to 4 years to complete the programme. You are allowed up to 5 to take it, though. As I said, you are allowed up to a year approved break of study. So you can take in exceptional circumstances up to 5 years, but by and large, most students complete the programme after 3 or 4 years. There is no requirement for you to come to the University of Derby, except for the last module there, which is called the Applied Intervention module. That is a 1 week on-campus module. You'll do all of that module in 1 week. So as you see, you generally do it once you've done the other 5 modules beforehand, and that is a 1 week on-campus module. We can obviously some students come from very great distances to study that 1 week module. We have students who've come from Hong Kong, New Zealand. Some only recently came from Cyprus to study that module, but it is an attendance module. It is only offered on campus for 1 week towards the end of the programme. So you by then would have successfully already completed the 5 other modules there. Right, so any questions at that point, please let me know. Right, I'll carry on there. Also, we also offer a practical food inspection course. This is for students covering the environmental health programme, not the environmental and public health programme. It's a compulsory short course held at Billingsgate Market in London, and it is a professional requirement of both CIEH and REHIS. So if you want to become registered with either CIEH or REHIS, which the vast majority of our students wish to do, you have to take this food course. And again, it's a 1 week attendance course, and it's generally held in June of each year. And there's 5 days of examination at the end of it. If you don't wish to be accredited by the CIEH or REHIS, you don't have to do it. But if you want that professional recognition which they offer, you have to do it. And so that is compulsory in that respect. And we currently offer it once a year in June. So, and again, you have to have already have completed the taught modules before you can go on this part of the programme. So that's generally something that students do around the time that they're doing the independent scholarly activity, or possibly just before. It's something you do towards the end of your studies with us. So what do you need to qualify as environmental health practitioner in England or Wales and Northern Ireland? Well, you need these 5 stages. You need the accredited degree, which is what we offer here at Derby. You need to have done the practical food inspection examination, which we offer at Billingsgate Market, and you have to successfully pass the integrated professional assessment, which we also offer as part of the programme. So those first 3 items there on the slide in red, we offer those as a part of the programme. However, once students have successfully done the first 3, they then go on to do their portfolio professional practice and the professional interview. Those are both managed and offered by the CIEH. We are not involved in that part. So if you wish to do your PPP, portfolio professional practice and professional interview, you have to liaise and approach the CIEH, and they will tell you where and when to go to do these and what you need to do and how much it will cost. But we do offer the first 3. They are all a part of the programme here, Derby. So you will do the accredited degree, you do the food exam, and you will do the integrated professional assessment with us during your time with us. However, if you're in Scotland, it's slightly different. To achieve full REHIS registration, you'll need to pass the MSc with us, and you'll also need to do the practical food inspection with us. And however, there are further requirements to be recognised by REHIS. That you need to do a period of work-based learning, generally about a year, with them. You need to submit a professional logbook, and you need to sit a series of professional examinations. They are all organised, supervised and managed by REHIS. They're not done here at the University of Derby. So on this occasion, we offer the first 2 parts there in red, the accredited programme and the practical food inspection course. So we offer those, and the others are offered by Royal Environmental Health Institute of Scotland. And most students generally have questions around fees. So obviously there's obviously costs involved, and normally at the moment, if you look at the entire programme currently, including the practical food inspection, it would be around about £8,000. Obviously, you don't have to pay that when you enrol. You can if you wish, but it's generally you pay for each module as you undertake them. So you enrol for one module this coming semester, you will pay for that module, and then you'll pay for the next module as you enrol, etc., etc., etc. So you don't have to pay for the module for the entire programme at one time. If you're lucky enough to be sponsored, students that are sponsored do generally pay for their mock programme in one go, and obviously then you're covered in case of further price rises, incremental rises in the cost of each module. But you don't have to pay it in one hit, so to speak. So how you interact with us tutors and other students while you're on the programme? Well, the most common way students interact with us is email. We receive a great many number of emails, and that's probably the easiest way most students speak to us. There's also the virtual learning environment, or Blackboard, the student portal. I'll briefly show you that in a couple of slides. There's also what we do, Blackboard Collaborate, or live classroom sessions, which are exactly like this. This is the Blackboard Collaborate system which I'm using now. We generally hold at least 2 or 3 of these for each module. So we generally hold one in the first week or 2 of the module, tell you something, what you'll be studying, how you'll be studying, who your tutors are, and we generally hold at least 1 or 2 other live classrooms within each module. Generally 2 or 3 weeks before the assignments we do, because students on the feedback, students really appreciate it and have a chance to ask us about the assignments before they're due in. So we generally, all modules will have at least 2 or 3 live classroom sessions like this. And one of the benefits of using live classroom is it's obviously a 2-way dialogue. It's not just me talk, tutors talk, students and talk back to me, but they're all recorded. So generally I do mine around midday. So if you can't access them at midday, they're all recorded and you can access them and listen to them at the time of your choosing. We also use discussion forums. It's very important. All the units, the taught units have a little end of unit activity to do. And that might take various shapes. It might be a blog or an online diary. Or in my case, I generally have a discussion forum where students talk about the unit materials, and then they put their viewpoint, what they think about this or think about that, and the other students comment on it. And there's what we call, we develop an area of practice, an area of learning, where students not just learn from the materials that we provide, they learn from each other. And that's very great benefit. So we use that as a professional practice forum, as I like to say, a learning forum. We also telephone. You can telephone us. I mean, and sometimes I wish students would sometimes make more use of that, because we get students who send us very detailed and long emails, which could possibly be covered in a telephone conversation of only 5-10 minutes long. So you can free to telephone us if we're not there. We've got answer phone, and also more commonly, if you want us to call you, if you just email and leave us a telephone number, we can contact you back at the time of your choosing. As I said briefly, there's an attendance week on the environmental health programme, generally a block week, which you say you do normally towards the end of the programme, and also around the time that you'll do that, most students choose to do the food course in London, which is also a block 1 week attendance week. So back to what I just mentioned just previously about the student portal. Here is an image of the student portal as you will see it. So this is where most of the learning materials and learning activities will be offered. So if we look at it from the top right-hand corner, you see it's got my name. It says Bruce Birkett. Well, substitute that for your name there. So you would have your name there. The student portal might look slightly different to this, because this is a view which I get, but it would look very, very similar to this. If you look then towards the left-hand side column there, you have at the top, it says the independent scholarly activity. That is the module module name. So whatever module you've clicked on, that its title would appear there in the top left hand corner. Then you have a module home tab, which is generally where announcements are kept there. So that if you look to the right of that, you have it says My Announcement. It's very important that once you're enrolled on a module, that you at least click onto it once or twice a week to read the module announcements. We put announcements up about all sorts of things, live classroom sessions, draft assignments, submission dates, etc. So you need to log in to your module at least a couple of times a week, really, to see if there are any announcements there. There's also module information tab below that. That contains a very important piece of information. Every module has a module handbook, and the module handbook is stored within the module information tab. It's very important that you read that, because most of the questions you ask will be covered in the module handbook. Again, gives information about the units that you'll be studying, who your course, who the module tutors are, when the module assignments are due in, when the live classroom sessions are going to be. So all the important information about the module there is contained within the module information tab in the module handbook. And below that is the module contact, so that's generally the module leader, and also any associate academics who are linked to the module. Then below that you'll have the learning activities, which is where most students spend most of their time. If that is where the units of learning units are kept. Generally most modules, that is 10 units, and they generally correlate to the 10 to 12 units of each semester. So generally each unit you should look at for about a week, approximately, although yes, and you should generally take them in the numerical order they're presented. So please look at Unit 1 first, and Unit 2, Unit 3. Certainly with my modules, they correlate. So if you looked immediately at Unit 8 or 9, you probably would struggle to understand them because you haven't had the basic supporting learning offered in Unit 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So that's where most of your core time will be spent within the learning activities tab. Then below that you have the reading list and the library. We have a large amount, a huge amount in fact, of electronic library books, library journals, technical journals, etc., which the university continue to update and purchase on an annual basis. And we link the unit learning materials to them, so there's a large amount of electronic data, electronic learning resources there within the library. There's a community space there, as I probably mentioned earlier. We're very keen on promoting a learning community for each module and for each unit. You'll be a discussion board present, and that's where you'll interact with your fellow students in the community space there. There's also groups, if we allocate you to groups down there, and tutor modules and the tutorial videos, and also there you'll see assessments. Generally by week 2 of each module, the assessments will be posted under the assessments tab, and the dates, what was done, etc. will be there for you to have a look at. And obviously the assessments are generally always due towards the last third of a module and after the module is closed. And most modules, as I say, will have two pieces of coursework which you'll have to do. So if they'll be posted generally there by the end of week 2. As you say, if anybody's got any questions at this point, please feel free to ask. So when does the term start? Well, the term starts on the 25th of September, so that's a week on Monday. If you're wishing to apply, please do so as soon as possible. You can contact us by obviously most students enroll online, but you can enroll on the telephone. Generally, please enroll promptly. Some students do come into the modules late, up to 2 weeks late, and that can be a bit difficult by then because it's 10 learning activities to most modules. If you don't come into week 2, you've missed up there 20%. You've coming in 2 weeks behind. So please try and enrol so you're ready to start come the 25th of September. As I say, read the module guides thoroughly. Check your student email accounts regularly, at least a couple of times a week. Please log on, read the announcement, look at the learning materials. Do try and participate in the discussions. You don't have to, but by far the most successful students say that when they get involved in the community of learning, it greatly enhances their learning and understanding of what they're being taught. So it's really useful if you participate in the discussion groups. The discussion groups which happen between students aren't marked or assessed by the academics. They are purely for your benefit. And also, if there are any unexpected issues, please contact us. And you can either contact the module leader or your tutor. And we do have an online academic advisor. In this case, that's Michelle Humphreys, who is can answer the vast majority of questions she can answer herself. But if there's anything of particularly of a pedagogical nature relating to the module content, then you'll need to speak to the module leader or your tutor directly. So, any questions, please? We're just about time. So, I'm Bruce Birkett. You can contact me if you've got any questions about the program. Up till please, but do try and please, if you're wishing to enrol. We do have 3 enrolments a year, not just September. We have our enrolment in January and in May, but by far the most popular is the September enrolment. So please feel free to contact us. I hope you do, and enjoy your time at the University of Derby. And thank you for joining us today.